welcome to another episode here on A New Life in France. And we are actually in the UK today. We are not in France, we are in the UK. We are at Cheltenham Racecourse. We are at the home of dreams, as many people would say when it's Cheltenham Festival there in March. But actually we're here in April, we're at Cheltenham Racecourse, and what we're going to be doing here is we're at the French Property Show. So we're having a really good look around, we're going to see who's here, we're going to look at the seminars that are on. You can hear the hustle and bustle already as there's lots of people arriving. They're going to be looking at all the lovely stands, they're going to be listening to some of the great seminars. Without further ado, let's go and find out more. Callum, we're here at the French Property Show. I mean, it's great today, there's so many people here, but what I'd like you to do is just tell me a bit more about the show. What is the show and who's it for, and just more about it?
Okay, so the show was designed to bring some of our really good networking partners together. So to showcase who they are, what they do, what they can offer. We find that some of the bigger shows are very formal and people don't get a chance to interact with the exhibitors. So the big companies who want to spend a lot of money to go there. So to have more regional representation, have smaller companies and be more personable, and also have time to speak to the exhibitors. So I think if somebody's looking to make that move to France, to be able to speak to an estate agent and have a bit of time and not feel pressurised to hurry up and move on, it's really good for them. So I think that pretty much covers what we do.
How many of these shows do you run a year?
We are running 2 shows per year, so we're trying to do them regionally. So this year we've got Cheltenham this weekend and then again in October, and next year we may look at a second venue and split that, so we've got one in the north and one in the south. The reason for having them regional are that a lot of clients are actually struggling to go to London or Birmingham or Manchester. It's really expensive for them by the time they pay for hotels, parking, ULEZ. So by having something out of town, it makes it really easy on access and really affordable, and they can have a really good day out.
Tell us more about the format of the show.
So the format is really informal. So when people walk through the door, the first thing they do, they're welcomed, they're given a voucher for a drink so they can go and have some refreshments. They wander around at their leisure. The tickets are actually weekend passes, so it's not a case of if you can't make the Saturday, you can't turn up Sunday. They can opt in and opt out, so if they want to go out and have some lunch and come back in. So it's a nice, gentle format. The seminars run 4 simple seminars per day, and they run both days. So if they want to do 2 today, and then they can do the other 2 seminars tomorrow.
Callum, how can people find out more information?
So we have the designated website address, which is thefrenchpropertyshow.com. We have a designated Facebook page where we like to put on posts from our exhibitors, so people have regular contact from that. And we'll also do regular e-shots as well, introducing the partners and who they are, what they can offer. And as we build that list, we'll always invite people back to future shows. So it's just about offering the best information possible.
Joe, great to be here at the French Property Show. I mean, tell us a little bit more about, what your company does.
Yeah, thank you. It's great to be here. It's been a really good show so far. We're Le Bon Voisin, as the name says, the good neighbours. We're a property management company, so we look after primarily people's second homes in France, do the key holding and security checks and the maintenance and the gardening for them, just to ensure that when they have their beautiful home overseas in France, that when they want to come over there, it's in good shape, it's all safe and secure and ready for them to come and enjoy their holidays. We're here at the show today. We're offering franchise opportunities for people to come over and join us. We set them up as property managers with their own business, so they can enjoy the wonderful life of being in France with some financial income coming in, but a nice work-life balance, so they can enjoy their second career or semi-retirement or whatever it may be for them. It's just a way of people being mentally and physically active over in France and having a revenue come in, so they can just really enjoy it. So we're here just trying to develop that and put that forward for people.
Tell tell us a little bit more, if you may, about your journey with your wife to France. How did that all come about?
It's been a long time in the coming, to be honest. We bought our own property in France in 2007. We found a superb house with incredible views down in the beautiful Gers, which we still absolutely are addicted to. So as soon as we bought that, we knew that we wanted to come over there at some point. We found Les Bons Voisins as we were looking for people who would look after our property, and found that it was very difficult to find people. And then we found Les Bons Voisins as being an opportunity for that. And through talks with the then owner, it seemed like a good business opportunity for us to get more and more involved in the company. So we ended up taking over that company and running it, which is a lot more than we bargained for in terms of all sorts of aggravation, but it was a lot of fun, and we just very much enjoy being there now and operating. We're very proud of what we've achieved with the company. We've got lots of franchisees operating around France who enjoy what they're doing and hopefully appreciate what we're here to support them with. So yeah, it was a long time in coming, but we eventually moved over full time in 2019. So we've been here for just over 6 years now, and are very much enjoying it. It's worth the aggravation.
Tell me a little bit more about what you do with Artemis and in the way mortgages, who you offer them to, and how that actually works in France.
Right, so mortgages for non-tax residents is very specific. There's specific rules depending on which country you're a tax resident from. And so our game at Artemis is to obviously just find the best deal possible depending on your personal situation to secure a loan with French banks for your French real estate acquisition.
And how easy is that process to go through?
If you were to manage it alone, very complicated, as French administration usually is. So with Artemis Courtage, we do like a full key-in-hand proposition from the study of how much you can borrow all the way till the final signature. And we do then negotiate for you on behalf of yourself or the banks, with the notaries as well as the mortgage insurance.
And are you able to help people in pretty much most countries?
Pretty much most countries indeed, yeah. We do have some solutions for everybody, whether you are self-employed or in a salaried position, and then obviously depending on your personal situation in terms of cash available. So we do offer a wide range of solutions depending on your situation.
Are you tied to one area in France, or you can cover across all of France?
Yes, so Artemis Courtage can pretty much finance all over France. Whether you're purchasing in Normandy or south of France, pretty much everything can be done.
Scott, tell me more what you do for clients looking to move to France.
So my role is I'm a removals surveyor or a consultant. So I come out and I see them in their house. We talk about the requirements they may require or need for us, and we do everything from the challenging to the difficult to the mundane, I guess. Full trucks all the way down to sort of part loads and things like that. We can do that with our own part load network. We have over 150 trucks in the UK, basically rolling all over the continent. So yeah, 12 branches. It's a really big concern, and there's no job too big or too small we're not interested in. So yeah, we'll also help with the custom side of things, get you through or keep you right on that sort of understanding, and then hopefully get you moved into your brand new home and start your new dream.
And how much of it do you do? Do you help people do the packing? What elements do you offer?
Yeah, so we'll do everything from where the customer will pack themselves all the way to a full package service. We'll also wrap furniture if they require, to making crates. And then on the other side, if it's required, we can also unpack. So take things out of the boxes, place them onto flat surfaces for people to put away, and then take all those materials away with us. So it leaves you in a very, very easy position to just basically start the dream.
And for a lot of people, they are actually entrusting their belongings to you. I mean, where does the element of trust come? What's the history behind the company?
100 years. It was a big party. It was a good one down in Hereford, and we started just after World War II with an old army truck. So it's 3 generations of Bartup. So George Bartup, GB Liners. I think some people make the distinction it should be Great British Liners, but it's not. It's named after the grandfather of the current owner. So it's a family-owned company, still pretty much family-run. We have tried to do our best throughout the decades, I guess, but it's also long service. I've worked for the company for 8 years now, but I actually replaced somebody who'd been with the business for 26 years. It's not unusual to have people work for the company for over 30 years. So we must be doing something right, and our guys are the same. So we've always got a DBS background check with all our men. You don't get a job unless you have one of them or you can clear one of them. And most of them like working for us. We have a waiting list to join the crew in Aberdeen, which is where I work. So we only take the best, and I think that shows in our Trustpilot, which I think is a nice 4.9 out of 5 at the moment. So yeah, I mean, the trust is a big thing, and if you go with a company on price solely, you may be sorely upset at the end of it.
Tell me how SJB helps people in France.
So we mainly help people that are either in transition to moving there or already are living in France. And it's dealing with people that have a cross-border problem. So cross-border just refers to they're from a different country, so they're dealing with 2 different tax systems, and it's just really simplifying that as much as possible. So as an example, if a British person is moving to France, they're always going to have assets in the UK. So it could be a property, could be pensions, could be investments, and it's just making sure that they have structured things correctly. Because there are a lot of things that could go wrong, but our job is just to make sure it's as simple as possible. From a pension side, investment side, inheritance tax side, so everything really just to make sure that they're not making the wrong decision with what they've done. And because it is quite complicated, if they're not using a financial advisor, then it's really difficult to find this information out themselves.
In terms of financial advisors, when somebody moves to Europe, do things change for them in terms of where they can get the advice?
Absolutely. So they can't use an advisor from their home country most of the time because it needs to be a company that has the regulations in the country where they're living. And then second of all, a lot of the products available are only available through a financial advisor. So if they're searching for the information online, they may only be finding the products that are just local, and local might not be the best option. So as an example, we often try and keep people's assets in a tax neutral place, and by tax neutral it's like Channel Islands or Ireland or Luxembourg, and these are places where there's no inheritance tax, there's no capital gains tax, there's no withholding tax, and you're not avoiding the tax, it just means you're dealing with the tax in the country where you're living, and what that means is your assets are portable. So you may move to Europe, but then you may decide to move back to where you're from or to somewhere else, and it just means that you don't have to sell your assets or deal with complications if you keep them there with where you're going. So it's really just to make things clean.
When you talk about things like that and people think about investments and wealth, they seem to think it's like millions of pounds and things, but in reality, what does it look like a typical kind of client who may get in touch with you? You know, what's this kind of minimum?
Minimum for us to manage someone is £100,000 or the equivalent. Most of the clients that we have on board, if we include their net worth, so property, investments, etc., could be around 750 to 100 to £1 million. Depends on the nationality really, but that's sort of a ballpark.
Talking of nationalities then, what are some of the key nationalities you do work with?
Yeah, 2 main key nationalities are UK expats and US expats. We deal with other nationalities as well, but the reason we have a focus on those is because a lot of us are from the UK. We set up our US business a year after setting up the global business, and really we just ended up specialising in those two areas. There's more we can help with as well. So we understand the social security systems, we understand their pension structures, we understand the investments, whereas Other countries, let's just take a normal European country, they don't have developed pension structures, which means that they often don't have private pensions and they're just relying on public pensions. So it's more focused advice for them because there's not as much they can do.
One last question, what is for a UK resident, what is the number one thing where you see most people make the mistakes or have a misunderstanding in terms?
Definitely pensions and inheritance tax. So with pensions, I often get the question, well, if I get paid the money to the UK, then France are going to have no idea that I've received the money. So common. But it's based on your tax residency, and you can't hide money from the tax office because you have common reporting standards, which means the countries talk to each other, and you have to register a tax ID number with the pension provider, for example, so they're going to know exactly which country to correspond to. But then the information on this, so what you think is true in the UK for UK pensions isn't the case when you move overseas. There's often a lot of restrictions, and you won't know those restrictions unless either you speak to a financial advisor or you know exactly where to get the information from. For inheritance tax, they often look at, for example, the country where they're living, but sometimes, given the cross-border element, there may also be inheritance tax in the country where they're living. In the country where they're from. So with regards to the UK, they've just completely rewritten the whole tax system, and if you're outside of the UK for more than 10 years now, you're actually classed as a non-dom, which means there would be no inheritance tax in the UK unless you had assets that were in the UK. Whereas often people think, oh, I could move to a country where there's no inheritance tax, but there still may be inheritance tax in the country where you're from. So really complicated. There's a lot of planning that can be done, and it's not a case of you move, it's sorted. It could take multiple years to actually get to the perfect scenario, which is trying to pay as little inheritance tax as possible.
Tori, tell me more about your agency.
My agency is based in Gascony in the Gers, near Toulouse, the southwest of France. I took over the agency in September last year after several years in real estate, and it's been growing ever since, slowly but surely. We're a great team of three with a lot of experience, including the old owner of the agency, so that's great. My two colleagues are French locals. I've been living in France for over 25 years, bilingual, and I'm more on the international side.
Tell me, what kind of properties do you specialise in or do you have on offer for your buyers?
I don't specialise in one type of property. It's a choice. We have all ranges, price ranges. The aim is to have properties for all budgets, as we want to please locals, but also international.
And in terms of the area, tell us a little bit more about the area where you are and why people would look to buy in that area.
Gascony is a really nice area, amazing countryside. It's adopting a different lifestyle, very calm, quiet, healthy lifestyle. We're close to the Pyrenees, close to the sea also, and also very close to airports, so quite remote, even though we're completely lost in the beautiful countryside.
Ben, tell me a little bit more about what you do with Generali.
Okay, I've been working for Generali now for the last 19 years. Basically professional private insurance, mainly property, medical, car insurance, and also covering things like investments, funeral cover, accident, and obviously third-party liability cover.
Where in France do you cover?
Okay, I'm actually living in Brittany, so most of my clients are in Brittany, so obviously home visits, but obviously doing things now online, email, obviously over the phone as well. I've got clients around most parts of France, so geographical isn't a problem.
And for you, how are you different to other agents and you personally? What's your knowledge of France?
Okay, well basically I've been there now for 28 years, so if a client obviously wants to make a claim, upgrade a policy, change a policy, they contact me directly rather than going through an agency or say a hotline, so they can get rid of, obviously contact me 7 days a week, so that's obviously a big advantage with more technical things.
And then just finally from me, what are some of the key things people must think about in terms of getting insurance in France?
Obviously, to start off with, once you've got a house, you've got to have your property insurance in place before you sign. Medical insurance is a big one today. Obviously now, if you need to get a visa, getting your medical cover in place before moving to France. Obviously, it can be a bit more complex than just taking out a policy, understanding actually how fully the system works. Car insurance, obviously, again, coming to France with a car, you need to get that in place as well. So yeah.
Tell me a bit more about what you do.
So, I'm Sophie. I represent Switch, which is an architectural practice. We are based in Bordeaux, southwest of France, and I've opened a company to help English-speaking clients to transform their barns and houses in France. So I really wanted to bridge the gap between France and UK and show those English clients the way of transforming the beautiful architecture, French architecture, and creating the life they want in France.
And do you work just around the Bordeaux area?
No, so the office is based in Bordeaux, as I said, but we cover majorly all of France, southwest principle, where English people are trying to find sun. But we go up to Brittany, where it's really accessible from the ferry for British clients, and Paris starting to be there, and then southeast Mediterranean area is where we go.
What do you think is the difference you bring to your clients?
So I think the strength we have is that we are a French company, but we do everything in English. So by being the French architect, you have the chance to first work with someone French. So it's like this first step in joining a new community, obviously. We have the strength of knowing exactly how to deal with the French administration, or understanding all the planning processes, being able to read all those things that are absolutely not comprehensible for English people. But we offer everything in English. So all the documents going to be supplied to you will be in English. Also in French, we need to be sent to planning permission or to French contractors. So you're going to get in your hands document in French and in English, making your whole communication between me and you and the client, or planning permissions and planning officers or contractors, all transparent.
Tell me a little bit more about the services you offer.
So we cover everything from new build to barn conversion to commercial work, to adding a garage to your house or a pool, or even just drawing to add a new window to your facade. All of these things need to be part of a planning permission. So obviously planning permission, French planning permission is one of our main activity at the moment, but we are offering just small feasibility studies for people who are looking to purchase a home. So we always advise to get this little service, quick one, before you even buy a property, so you know what you can do or not on the place. We assist with all the design and concept, so people come with ideas, great ideas for a house they've seen or they already bought, and we help them to adapt this to French regulations, understanding the local town planning rules, which are all different everywhere in France. Bringing that to planning permission, getting the approved, right? And then we are sometimes also assisting with project management. So for some clients who are not already in France or just don't want to deal with contractors, French contractors, we take on the job here, take the whole discussion with the contractor, ask for quotations, and get the works done for you.
Tell me about the American market.
So we're slowly opening to the American market. We see more and more inquiries coming from American clients, and as we offer English-speaking services, obviously we respond well to their needs.
about Currencies Direct and what you do for your clients?
Okay, so Currencies Direct is a service to help clients make sure they get the most for the money when they're transferring it to France. Because one of the things, you come to a show like this and you see all these gorgeous properties and you're looking at the price, the sale price in euros, but what clients often don't really sort of realise at the time is there's a cost. What will that property cost them in sterling to buy the euros they need? So that's where we come in. We've been helping clients move their money safely and securely around the world since 1996 in over 40 currencies, and we offer the best exchange rates. They help them save money on the exchange rate, but more importantly, we have services in place that can help them mitigate against great market volatility. Like for example, the last week we've seen a lot of market volatility. Sterling dropped from around 120 to around 116. So when you think about it, last week the exchange rate 120, that would have cost £100,000, would have bought you 120,000 euros, but currently it would only get you 116,000 euros. So we have services that we can offer clients to help protect their sterling budget, to make sure that the property of their dreams doesn't become unaffordable by the rate dropping too far out of their reach.
Just one more question is, in terms of going through the process, why couldn't somebody just pay a bank? Why do they need to use yourselves?
Right, good question. Well, for a start, we are able to offer a better exchange rate. Now, banks, they are they're not a master of one trade, they're a jack of all trades. They do a lot of different services, and foreign exchange isn't something that they necessarily offer the best service in. So whereas we are able to offer tighter exchange rates, the banks will take a wider margin, so it means they're going to get less euros for their sterling. Not only that, the banks will charge an international wire transfer. So if you do a transfer directly from your UK bank to your French bank, the chances are your bank will charge for an international wire, and then when the money arrives in your French bank account, it's coming from the UK, your bank will charge for an international receipt of funds. So our service avoids that, because the client will be paying us in sterling in the UK, and then we're sending out euros from within the EU, so the bank won't charge to receive them.
And very finally, what would be the one piece of advice you should give somebody when they start looking at their properties?
The absolute thing I tell all clients is to register as early as possible. There's no obligation if you set up an account with us, but it gives you the facility. You'll then be assigned an account manager, one of our senior dealers, so you can have a chat with them, discuss how the market's been going, what's coming up in the next week or so, put steps in place, and then they have that facility there. So once they come over to France to start viewing properties, they can see exactly how much it will cost. Plus we offer a really handy debit card, so they can get that card, they can load it up with euros for when they come over on their house hunting trips, use that for their spend, get them used to using the service, but they have that facility in place. So always allow as much time as possible. It's never too early to set up an account.
Well, there we have it. We're at the end of day 2. It's been a great 2 days here at Cheltenham Racecourse in the UK for the French Property Show. Really hope you've enjoyed that snippet to some of the exhibitors are here, get that atmosphere, and do remember that the next exhibition for the French Property Show will be back here at Cheltenham Racecourse the beginning of October. You can see the dates below and the link below. Do make sure you come to that. And again, even as we go into 2026, probably be going further afield. Remember to subscribe to A New Life in France. You can find out information on everything there is to know, and join us next time.